The first tournament in the history of the UFC was held on November 12, 1993 at McNichols Sports Arena in Denver, Colorado, USA. Royce Gracie, Patrick Smith, R. Jimerson, Gerard Jardot, Zane Fraser, Ken Shamrock, Taylor Tully, and Kevin Rozier. 8 fighters, of which only one champion will remain. No rules, no scores, and no time limits. The first fight of the quarterfinals, Gerard Jardot vs Taylor Tully. Taylor Tully is a professional sumo wrestler. His weight is 186 kilograms. His height is 189 centimeters. Jardot will need to try hard to defeat this big guy. Gerard Jardot was a Dutch karate champion from 1978 to 1985, a European Savate champion from 1988 to 1991, and World Savate champion in 1992. The sumo wrestler flew forward at full speed as their opponent. Jardot, like a bullfighter, leaves the bull's line of attack and delivers a killer soccer kick, a right hand blow to the head. The referee intervenes and asks the doctors to examine Tully, but he doesn't any doctors. He is ready to continue on the fight. The doctor doesn't allow the fight to continue, and thus Gerard Jardot wins this fight. He reaches the semi-finals of the UFC tournament. The second fight of the quarterfinals, Kevin Rozier vs Zane Fraser. Kevin Rozier is a kickboxer. He owns several championship titles in this discipline. He also regularly entered the rings as a professional boxer. Zane Fraser became an international karate champion in 1987 and again in 1990. After switching to kickboxing, he won the US heavyweight title of the World Kickboxing Federation in 1993. It's reported that he earned his place at the tournament by defeating Frank Dux in a street fight witnessed by UFC founders Rodion Gracie and Dark David. Kevin strives to break his opponent's head from the first seconds. Fraser falls from such an onslaught, but he immediately manages to get up and start his attack on the offender. Zane was hitting with all his might, putting his whole soul into his punches. And now his right hand came into play, which dealt the opponent blow after blow. Whoa, Fraser believed in himself. He will continue to hit the opponent. Take a look, what was that? Blow battle of the belt? But anyway, Rozier rises from the ashes and knocks Suka out, turns on the destruction mode and starts pounding Fraser's head with his fists. Zane is unable to take the blow and he falls down. Zane's corner throws a white towel into the octagon. Kevin Rozier wins this fight and advances to the semi-finals of the UFC tournament. Thus, the first semi-final of the UFC tournament was formed. Gerard Jardot vs Kevin Rozier. The next quarter-final fight, Royce Gracie vs R. Jimerson. Royce Gracie started training at the age of 8 with his father and older brothers, Rodion, Ransom, and Rickson. By the age of 16, he had a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and by the age of 18, he had a black belt. At the age of 17, Royce moved to his brother Rodion in the USA. Despite not knowing English, Rodion helps him in training. Royce competes in several Jiu-Jitsu competitions and received a record amateur rating 51-3, and he's here now. R. Jimerson is a professional boxer. His record is 29 wins and 5 losses. He came to the fight wearing only one boxing glove to protect his hand from being hit and leave the other free, which earned him the nickname Art One Glove Jimerson in the process. Gracie invites a rival to her kitchen where he's a chef. Then he assumes the position of a full mount. Oh, it seems that's all. Art knocked. Haha, I just started putting sugar in my coffee when the fight ended. Royce Gracie confidently and easily wins this fight and reaches the semi-finals of the UFC tournament. The last quarter-final pair, Ken Shamrock vs Patrick Smith. Ken Shamrock is the founder of the famous Lions Den Club, where the leading fighters of the time trained in the 90s. Shamrock has 3 fights in Pancrase and won all 3 ahead of schedule. From 1988 to 1993, he was engaged in wrestling. Patrick Smith has had 4 boxing matches in the professional ring, 2 of which he won. He has a 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo, as well as a black belt in Hapkido, American Kempo and Tan Soo Do. The fighters danced and fell on the canvas. Shamrock began to twist the heel of his opponent. Smith couldn't bear the pain and capitulated. After the fight, the fighters exchanged pleasantries with each other. The following semi-final pairs were formed: Gerard Jardot vs Kevin Rozier, Royce Gracie vs Ken Shamrock. The first one to fight in the octagon will be Gerard Jardot and Kevin Rozier. Jardot strikes low kicks, forcing the opponent to retreat. And then he punches good dudes and the famous soccer kick follows. Rozier is cornered and Jardot continues to strike. It's over. Gerard Jardot enters the final of the UFC tournament. Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock met in the second semi-final. The fight continues in the stalls. Gracie takes the initiative and takes a more advantageous position. Performs a strangulation as the Shamrock surrenders. A clean victory for Royce Gracie, which takes him to the final of the UFC tournament. Royce Gracie and Gerard Jardot, one of them will become the first ever champion of the UFC tournament. Gracie tries to drag the opponent into his territory from the first seconds of the fight. Jardot is holding up well so far, but Royce still takes his toll. He finds the opponent's neck and begins to strangle him. Gerard Jardot knocked, and this means that Royce Gracie becomes the first champion in the history of the UFC. He gets a check for $50,000. Subscribe to the channel, put likes and write your opinion in the comments.
Thanks to my brother, my family for being. I'm gonna go to Disneyland. You going to Disneyland? There's a promo for him. Okay.